So first of all, I want to say there's a reason why I called this class a studio rather than a workshop. And it's because I have some real reservations about the traditional workshop model and how it affects writers. Back when I was in grad school and just getting used to taking workshops, they really threw me for a loop. I was so nervous about sharing my work with 12 writers who I didn't know that I spent ages polishing up my first draft to a beautiful shine to try and look good in front of them. Then I would get into class and sit silently as these 12 writers tore apart my story, rightly pointing out that I did not know what my story was about yet. The impact on my nervous system was real. I would break out into a sweat. I'm sure I had really red cheeks, and I would leave class being really exhausted. Then, when I turned around and tried to revise, I found that I had a really difficult time. I had spent so long weaving these perfect sentences together that it was very painful to tear them apart and try and restructure the story in a way that worked. Now, I'm not going to say that I didn't get anything valuable out of those workshops, because I really did. In every workshop, there would be a couple people who really got what I was trying to say and really gave me helpful comments. But workshops were not only incredibly hard on my nervous system, they also really reinforced a bad habit that I had that it would later take me years to undo. And that was my impulse to make a draft beautiful and perfect before I really knew what I was trying to say in the story. So many years later, I've now deprogrammed from the MFA workshop experience. The way that I like to get feedback now is very different. When I'm sharing my draft, I like to share it with 3 people, 4 people, definitely not 12 people. That's way too many. And when I share with people, I share with them a draft that's still pretty ugly, because I know now that there's no point in trying to skip ahead in the process. I need to fix the foundations of my story first, the plot, the structure, the character, before I can start getting all show-offy about my sentences. If I try and skip ahead and do that polishing work first, I'm just creating a whole ton of work and misery for myself down the line. So when I share with readers now and I get together to receive feedback, I don't do it in the MFA workshop style where I sit silently. I really welcome those writers to share what resonated with them in the manuscript. I ask them the questions that are most pressing for me about what I'm trying to do, and they help answer them. And I also welcome any other feedback that they have that can help me strengthen the story. And because we're having a conversation, because it's a dialogue, it doesn't feel pressury. I'm not breaking out in a hot sweat while we're talking. And I leave those conversations feeling really supported and uplifted and excited to implement the changes that we've talked about. This approach really helps me engage with my draft in a healthier way. And I think it's more supportive of the realities of drafting, which is that with each iteration, we're making the draft 20% better, 30% better. We're not trying to undertake some sort of unrealistic feat. So let's not do a workshop. Let's do a studio. And studio is this open, engaged, generative discussion where you're going to feel uplifted and empowered to undertake a revision of what you've written. If this sounds like something you might be interested in, read more about the workshop below and then hit the button if you'd like to apply. I'm really excited to be offering this studio class after many years of not offering it, and I'm excited to meet the writers who are going to be part of this experience.